I was in New York at the 140 conference, and I was actually, I think I was actually out in the speakers lounge talking to AJ and Melissa. I think that's who I was talking to. Suddenly I heard some music coming from the stage, and suddenly the speakers lounge totally cleared out. This place that you know, they talk about the hallway conversations, always filled with the hallway conversation. Everybody moved out of that room into the auditorium to see what was going on. And what was going on was pretty awesome. It was this video. And there was this woman on stage talking about how this video went viral. And when that got over, in the course of the conversation that we'll carry on in a minute, I called up Terry. I said, we have to get her to SOBCon because she's from Portland and she has this most amazing video. And I went to go find her and I can't find her. I think she's already left. And Terry says, well, you know, what's her name? And I said, I don't know, but she runs a business called something like the Rustic Underground. And he goes, you mean the Radish Underground? And I said, yeah, that's it, the Radish Underground. He says, oh, is it Gina or Celeste? I'm going, oh, you know her? I said, it's the one with the long hair and the red dress. And he says, oh, that's Gina. I said, you know her? And he said, yes. And I'm talking on the phone. And I said, have you seen the video? And he goes, what video? I said, oh, most amazing video. No, Anita shops at her store. So it was a weird, really strange way that we got this all connected. And finally last summer, I came out and got to meet Gina. And now I'm doing one of those name things. So I'm just going to go right over here and make sure I say her name right. Yeah, I'm going to go, it's Morris Miller. Gina Morris. And we're going to explore both how the video got made and how it has helped Radish Underground and the whole story altogether. And Terry will be joining us later. Come on up, Gina.
Should we sit?
Yeah, but why don't we let's do that. So, let's talk about the video first.
Okay.
So, you have this friend and he wants to make a video. Tell us the story about that.
Well, Isaac and I went to college together, and we were in the performing arts. We were in a dance company together, and he actually did my wedding ceremony, which you can imagine was a very over-the-top musical production in the theater where I grew up dancing, which included Isaac coming from the back of the house playing guitar, and then he and my future husband singing on stage together. So needless to say, when it came time for him to propose to his girlfriend, he wanted to do something very over-the-top. And it's also very important to mention that Amy is a Broadway dancer and an extremely accomplished one at that. So we were very much setting out to raise the bar and do something that would impress her from a performer's perspective. If you had the ultimate opportunity to give a performer the best gift of performance in a really meaningful moment, what would you do? So that's how we got the idea.
And so I would imagine the surprise part was both a challenge and took a little planning.
It definitely did. In fact, because we wanted to maintain the surprise and there were over 60 people involved, it actually made the planning part that much more difficult because we were on such a short time frame. Isaac came to me with the idea and the song and the layout of what he wanted only about a week before we actually did the proposal. We did the proposal. And But we had one rehearsal. He and I met together at midnight one night and went over the song and the placement and some of the theatrical elements, like the dancing Jews and whatnot, that he wanted included, but he wasn't sure where or how. That became my job. So I choreographed for about 2 days, and then we had one group rehearsal for 3 hours on a Saturday. People came and went as they were available, and then Isaac shot video of me doing each individual part, and I wrote a transcript of all the choreographies, so we could email that to whomever wanted to participate, and it's a testament to their love and respect of Amy that people really went out of their way to learn it on their own. And then people came and visited me at the store at Radish Underground for if they weren't able to make it any other time, to be taught their part. And then we went for it. We sent Amy on a goose chase early to make sure she was out of the way, but that was it. We ran it before she got there, and we went.
Okay, so I come to the Radish Underground, and let's see. So who are the people in the video? Yeah.
Sure. So it starts out with Ammon and I, my husband and I, who are, again, Isaac and Amy's really, really, really close friends. And then immediately following that is Isaac's parents. And then the next couple is his brother and sister-in-law. And the first group of clapping people that come out are all of his sisters, aunts, and cousins. And it continues to add on from there with friends and family.
Okay, so I'm a sister, aunt, or cousin, and I come to the Radish Underground. Will you show me my part?
Sure.
Okay.
So let's see. If you're a sister, aunt, or cousin, you're going to come in with the clapping and skipping. Okay. So we're going to clap and skip together. So
be over there?
Yeah, come on. Let's go to the back. So let's see. And then we're going to sit on the table. Okay, so we made it around, we're with the group, and then we do the first group thing that we do. So let's, oh God, what is the choreography? Let's see. I think we did a little West Side Story here, so snap and walk. Don't say no, 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 no. Lean back and shake your hand, say yeah, 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 yeah. And then we went on from there.
Awesome. So I wondered how that worked out, and now I know.
Yeah, that was pretty much exactly how it went.
And so the aunt, sister, cousin, whoever, you probably did that with her.
Well, I mean, I did it on that Saturday as many times as I could with who was there. So the people that were available to learn it learned it, and then actually in several cases, the group just sort of grew on the night of. So in other words, there were maybe 4 people at the first rehearsal, but that group ended up being about 7 or 8 people, and they sort of did it amongst themselves. Before I even knew it, I walked over and they had taught the choreography to the people that had missed it before. So they were really doing my job for me. They also, on their own, decided to costume themselves a la Amy. So they're wearing little brown boots and jeans and layered t-shirts. And then the last group that comes in is costumed themselves a la Isaac. So they're wearing cargo shorts, button-down top, little spinner caps. So I totally independently. They just showed up that way. It was great.
So that's what happens when you let your community own part of the brand.
Definitely.
Definitely. Good things can happen. So, and what about the logistics of if you're teaching me in the store and now suddenly we're on the street?
It's very challenging for sure. In fact, really the timing of the car was the most challenging part. So we only went, I'm bad with yardage, but maybe 300 to 500 yards up the street. It was a very, very slow moving procession that happened. But also the group stopped and then would move forward and stopped and move forward. So I had real eyes with Mike, the driver, to really time our pacing. But also that's Isaac. He, being such a gifted director, he sat in the back of the car with his iPhone for the 3 or 4 times that we ran it before Amy arrived that Wednesday night. And he really directed and tweaked some of those things and made that smooth that over.
Driveway by driveway.
Yeah, driveway by driveway. And his neighbors ordered a pizza, invited friends over, and we're sitting in their driveway waiting for it to happen.
Hey.
It's pretty cute.
So how did the whole get Amy in the car thing happen?
Well, she's notoriously early for things. So we sent her on a goose chase downtown to pick up Isaac at the 24-hour fitness. So she's, of course, circling the block looking for parking, getting a little bit pissed, which was great because she was in a perfect frame of mind to get there and know something was up, but not know what. But she would definitely give us all the benefit of the doubt. we hid. We knew she was on her way once we finally gave her the call and said, okay, just kidding, come to Isaac's parents' house. So we waited about 5 minutes and then said, okay, sorry about your knees, guys, it's time to hide. So everybody trickled up the street and hid behind cars and just crouched waiting. And we had a little signal, so when we saw her car coming down the road, we could give a signal and pass it up the line. And then it happened fast, actually. By the time she arrived and parked her car and Isaac's brother got her in the car and the music started, Ammon and I almost miss our entrance. You can tell on the video that we come around the corner. There's a little delay between the guy leaving that's playing the pot and us coming around the corner, because I was running as hard as I could from way up the street so we could stay hidden. And then we just went for it, and it was all one take.
All right, so are you ready to see the video? Hey, you want to move away or you want to sit here? Can you see? Okay, should we turn the lights down?
really nicely. And basically, what I want to say about this song is that this song really tends to exemplify you and Isaac's relationship. It really does to me. So, here it goes.
given me a lifetime of happiness. Will you let me spend the rest of my life trying to give you the same? Will you marry me?
So I'm gonna hand the microphone over to Terry in a minute. But before I do, I would like you to just say that you then posted the video on YouTube and went on vacation.
Oh, my experience, yeah. So Isaac posted it on whatever the Friday following that 23rd was, and went up in the morning, and I don't know if it set some sort of a record or not, but it had something like 3 million views by the end of the first day. So there was this insane explosion of it happening, and Am and I were on the coast, and as you guys know, if you're from Portland, you have no cell phone reception on the Oregon coast. So we had no idea what happened for 2 days, all day Friday, all day Saturday, completely missing it. And so we get recognized at this tiny little coffee shop as we're leaving town, and this woman goes, "Oh my God, are you on the wedding thing, the wedding video?" And we thought, "What are you talking? No, you're on the commercial, and we're really not." She's like, "No, you look just like them. You have to be them." And I thought, "Well, what are you talking about?" She said, "On the news, the wedding thing." I said, "Oh, the news. Okay, sure. Isaac's an actor in town. He probably got it on the local news. Wonderful. What a cool way for this to culminate." Little did we know, I get home, it's about midnight, and I turn my phone back on, and I had 9 voicemails, 13 text messages. My phone was like exploding in my hand, and I flipped open my computer, and immediately Amy jumped on the IM and said, "Is that you? Are you really here? Where have you been?" And I said, "We were at the coast. What's going on?" She said, "We're coming over." And so she and Isaac got in the car at midnight, drove to our house, and had to explain everything that had been going on and all of the crazy attention. And then they sat at my kitchen table and talked on the phone between Good Morning America and the Today Show, like who's going to win the bid to get them on their morning show the next morning. So it was a really surreal way to come into it because we didn't have any buildup at all. It went from doing it, going on vacation and taking the first 2 days off together in about a year to coming back and it being huge. So it's crazy.
And I want to ask you just one more question that I heard you answer brilliantly in New York, and I know you will again. Why do you think so many people shared that video?
Yeah. Well, I think that the magic and what makes it unique is that we filmed Amy's reaction. So what you're seeing is an actual human interaction. And you guys all know if you've been to a performance, and as an audience member, when it's really clicking, when you can feel that invisible umbilical cord of energy between what's happening on stage and what's happening with the performers, that's a good show. And you know what that's all about. And what we captured is not only high quality performance value. I mean, Isaac and I have done this a lot, so we knew we could kind of know what we were doing, but more importantly, you see Amy's love for everybody there and our absolutely just exuding our love back at this little beacon of light that is Amy. And so that real human emotion and interaction resonated with so many people, and I think that's an important thing to note about using social media and viral media to make a difference. It's a way to connect with other humans, even if you aren't in the same room with them.
And that's how I connected with you.
Yes, so nice.
Yes. So now I'm going to hand the microphone to this other guy that I'm connected to.
Hello.
And he's going to be able to talk about his connection to this wonderful lady.
Well, hello, Gina.
Well, hello, Terry.
When Liz told me about this, I was like, whoa, Gina? Because I knew you as an entrepreneur. You're a business person.
Correct.
And so what I want to talk about is, okay, it's been out, it's viral, and so what are you doing with that in relationship to the rest of what you do, your entrepreneurial life, is particularly with Radish Underground? Please tell everybody what else You do a lot of stuff, so I'm very interested in how that is working within the context of your business life.
Sure. Well, so I own a business called Radish Underground. It's about 2 blocks that direction on 10th in the West End, and we are an independent clothing boutique. We carry products from designer-owned companies around the world, although we do specialize in the region and local work, and a lot of what we have is exclusive to the store. I also teach workshops to develop designers. There's a really staggering gap in formal education for designers that have a product, but literally have zero business education, not one class, even for graduating seniors at FIT or Art Institute, that says, hey, this is actually how you approach a business and establish a relationship. What's the difference between consignment and wholesale? Things like this. So I do a lot of work in that way, and obviously the exposure has done wonders for the store. We've certainly seen a major uptick in all of our social media readership, and people coming into the store in general, and the way that I'm sort of trying to connect the two and also make a meaningful change out of this sudden fame is to actually auction the red dress. So my business partner made that dress for Radish Underground. It's an original piece that years ago, so we've had it for a long time. And there's a nonprofit charity called Little Kids Rock out of New Jersey that puts music education back into underprivileged schools. So we'll be auctioning the dress as well as a guitar that's been signed by many prolific guitar players from the Crown of the Continent for their 10-year anniversary. So it's been a really neat way to just get a little bit more exposure, and obviously being invited to speak at conferences, this is my third, has been a really nice way to connect with other people in terms of finding a way to make a platform for my voice, helping entrepreneurs and designers.
Well, you're doing that in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I know that you've taken, you and Celeste, your partner, take a pretty principled stance in what you stock at your store. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that philosophy and supporting other local creators?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all designer-owned companies. So our focus is working with the craftsmen and the entrepreneurs that really make a community thrive. And it's so vitally important that we have craftsmanship to really maintain that Main Street feeling and the experience that people have in a particular city or when they go into a particular store. Excuse me. And when we look at our designers, we don't have any hard and fast rules. We look at each person and see that they're making something that is unique. It is high quality as far as the actual product itself. And what is their story? Why are they doing what they do? And what is their sourcing and manufacturing all about? Is it something that resonates with us? Again, we don't have hard and fast rules. So we won't say we only carry things made in the US, because that's very limiting compared to a lot of designers that are based around the world. However, we are also highly aware of people being particularly label conscious with things that say the words made in China. But what does that mean, and who's doing what? So the few lines that we carry that are manufactured overseas are doing so in a way that we think is actually wonderful for small business, and so we're really supporting that. But it's few and far between, of course.
Sure. So what possessed you to do the crazy thing of doing a storefront? How many people have attempted that, putting up a retail store and try to sell stuff? I don't blame you. I used to work at a record store. I know what that's like. Just day after day, hoping people come in the store. What possessed you and Celeste to get into that business in the first place?
Well, Celeste and I grew up dancing together, so we both have a very elaborate background in the visual arts and performing arts together. So to us, it was important that, to back up a little bit, Celeste had a clothing line for several years here in Portland, and I worked for Lululemon Athletica, which does some really incredible training for entrepreneurs. So I knew I wanted to run a business. She had a clothing line, and we knew we both wanted to support artisans. Because of our background in the arts, that's what we're passionate about. And so it sort of lent itself to us starting a business. And the brick and mortar for us is important because we want the human connection. And we want to also network our artists. So for example, if we have a First Thursday event with a featured local clothing designer, jewelry designer, a visual artist, and a musician playing the piano in the space, ideally we'd like to say, okay, hey, designer, you make the tie, artist screen print it for the band, for the guy that's playing piano, and we'll add a little accent tie tack that's custom made by the jewelry designer. Some interconnected way to really build this pool of makers here in Portland.
Now, you also have this interesting way of competing where you embrace it and you actually band together to sell products. I think this is a fascinating thing. Tell us what you're doing about our home, our neighborhood, the West End, which is on the other side of Burnside there. And tell us about what you're doing to support other entrepreneurs. I think this is great.
Yeah, so the west end of Portland is a little niche there located between the Pearl and the Pioneer District downtown. It's just about 7 blocks square right there from Burnside to about Morrison, and then 9th to 13th. And there are so many independent stores and really interesting things going on, record labels, salons, active spaces. PICA, the Portland Institute of Contemporary Art, just moved in. Portland Monthly just moved in above us. I mean, it's really a revitalized part of town with so much history and character also. So my thinking was that, we're doing the best we can as our small business, and what I need now is more traffic and more awareness in my neighborhood, and also I want to band together to have a bigger impact.
So the rising tide theory here.
Yeah, and to ride that tide.
Right.
So I worked together with Patrick Leonard from PICA, and we organized about 40 of the businesses to actually do cohesive branding for the neighborhood, make it officially the West End. We have a website now called wepdx.com, at wepdx for Twitter. And it's great because you can use the interactive map online, or there's a printed walking map as well to hand out to tourists to have the conversation. Hey, go check out these people specifically, their personal recommendations. If you're coming for a restaurant, you also get the benefit of seeing these shops that are listed. So it's marketing on a broader scale, and because we all contributed a small buy-in, we were able to have a much larger impact on a whole West Coast campaign to bring tourists to Portland.
What
to our
a great concept to try to pull like merchants together. I think that's very instructive here, and I really like the approach that you guys are taking.
Thank you.
And so, before I ask you when do you sleep with all you going on, there's one more thing you're doing. Yeah. Now you're actually designing and selling jewelry, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So tell us quickly about that.
Okay, quickly about that. My biggest challenge at Radish Underground is that we have no brand recognition. Everybody we work with is undiscovered, for the most part. So the way to combat that, and also for us to make a higher margin on the products that we're working with, is to create our own line. So we have our own wholesaled line of jewelry and bags. I have 3 collections I'm working on right now. A basics line, just Radish, and then Rad Badlands is all dinosaur fossils and ancient fossils from the Badlands of eastern Montana that come from the basement at the Makashika Dinosaur Museum. Little tiny pieces that aren't museum quality, but everything we make a jewelry piece out of, a portion goes back to the museum to support them. So it's a very cool thing, one-of-a-kind stuff.
You can have a raptor bone hanging around.
So you could, yeah. Right now I have Triceratops jawbone and teeth pieces that are pretty spectacular, dinosaur eggshell. And then the other line is Rad Wine, and it's recycled wine barrel scraps from a company that makes furniture out of the wine barrels, a friend of ours. So we're doing a whole new line, and we're trying to get our brand out there to be recognized as people that cultivate and curate independent design.
Wow. So just to tie it all together, it seems like from how you organize this video to how you conduct your business life and how you integrate into the community, that's the word, right? Integrate into the community, build the community. And I have to say, Gina, you're a shining example in this town, and you should be awful proud of what you're doing, and I'm proud of what you're doing for this town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me. This is really
it's our pleasure.
an honor.
Gina Morrisberg.